Hello guys and welcome back. Yes, as you can see by the title, this is an ambitious one, and I wasn't kidding because this is the biggest video I've ever filmed, full stop. And the reason is because I'm here at Land's End. I know, I'm so crazy, I don't know what I'm doing here, but today I'm finding out whether this can do the journey from here to John O'Groats. Yeah, 830 miles, apparently meant to take 15 hours in a petrol or diesel equivalent car, and I certainly know that isn't the case for this. So yeah, without me getting frostbite on my hands, toes and other body parts, let's jump in the car and yeah, get this adventure on the way. Thanks to the guys at FreeTrade, this video is sponsored. Yes, get yourself a free share up to £200 today. Check out the deal in the description below. What are you waiting for? Get signed up now. Woo! Nice and warm.
Yeah, lovely.
So guys, yes, I have my good friend here, AREN from Car Obsession, and yeah, I don't know still why he's here. Because,
I don't know why you're here. Why are we both here? I could be in bed right now.
Oh, we could. We've had limited sleep. We got here late last night.
Yeah.
Well, this morning actually. And,
yeah.
Yeah, it's very cold, and we've been charging this for over 2 hours. So we've been sitting at Land's End for over 2 hours before we've even started.
Great fun.
We are mad. And yeah, as I said, the premise of this video today is to find out whether EVs are actually capable of doing long distance journeys. Now, the idea of this video I got from free correspondence, travel correspondence.
No, transport.
That's it, correspondence, yeah. Which I have no recollection of what that means. I think it's just a made up title.
Transport.
Just like I have an industry expert here.
Yep, ITV News dubbed me an industry expert. You heard it here first.
So yeah, I'm going to just call them Dumber, Dumb and Much Dumber because I forgot their names.
They're Dumb, Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah, Dumberer, yeah. Yeah, they basically did the exact same journey in this exact same car. Well, we're not in the actual car that they did it in, but it's pretty much the same car. And they did the exact same journey, and they completed it in a whopping 27 hours, or just over that. So it took them 12 more hours
just think
to do
of
a journey.
Just think of all the better things you could be doing.
Oh, exactly.
Like, the amount of box sets you can get through.
And could you
Could
you imagine what it was like, 3 guys in the car together for that amount of time, and they only charged once? And you're thinking, how on earth did they do 830 miles by only charging once? Oh, yeah, this is where it gets even more amusing, because they averaged a speed of around 30 miles an hour the whole way. Yes, 30 miles an hour on some of the most busiest motorways in the country. Now, and yeah, I just can't fathom why they even thought that was a good idea. I can't believe it. And yeah, they obviously got there to John O'Groats, but yeah, they got there 12 hours later. And then they say they've proven that you can do long distance journeys in EVs. No, what you've proven is that if you want to get somewhere 12 hours later, then yes, the Mach-E can definitely provide that. If you want to get there on time, yeah, sorry mate, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not sure on that one.
And you mean 12 hours later than what it would take to get there?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which is half a day for your mathematicians out there. Yeah,
so the journey in a normal car would take roughly around 14 and a half hours, 15 if you want to be.
Which is long enough, let's face it.
Exactly. And unfortunately, we haven't got the graces of a petrol or diesel engine. We're relying on electricity alone. So yeah, that's going to take us probably 18, 19 hours, which is, yeah, good luck, mate.
If you could just drop me off on the way, drop me home on the way there, that'd be fantastic. You might have to take a little detour.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we're mad. We are honestly mad. But we're doing it for you guys, so you don't have to. There you go. We're doing you all a favour.
This is important consumer advice, I think.
But aside the momentous of the challenge, I'm actually really looking forward to.
Momentous, that's a good word, I like that. That's a big word for you.
I know, it is.
You've been reading that dictionary I gave you, early Christmas present.
Yeah, just intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what this can actually do, because no one's mad enough to do this. And,
well, 5 people are. Us 2. There's 3 transport correspondents, so that's 5 people right there.
So yeah, the whole journey, we're going to document the amount of times we charge this, because we are going to charge this quite a few times.
Yay!
The reason we charged it to 100% at Land's End was because there's actually a rapid charger there. Where I filmed the intro, GridSurf, what the company that we're probably going to be using quite a lot, and I use in Braintree. Yeah, they've actually put a charging unit at Land's End and at John O'Groats, which is pretty cool considering that they're very remote places. The fact that there's an electric point there is quite cool. So
yeah, you can't get any more remote when you get there and I've got emergency calls only on my phone. It's like, I've been diverted to the 1900s. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So for the first charge, which I will include because it's part of the journey, it cost me £22.43. And I will do some calculations within the editing suite where I'll be telling you how much it costs and what it'd be equivalent in, say, my 335D, because obviously that's a car I own, to give you a good understanding of the differences in cost. Now, I know petrol and diesel is absolutely astronomical in price.
Yeah, it is at this moment in time.
But that's all we can gauge it on at the time of filming.
Yeah, the thing is, I gasp at £22. It does sound like a lot, but
yeah. But
obviously, if you were to, like you say, if you were to fill this up with petrol or diesel, then it would be at least, I don't know, at least 3 times that. So,
exactly. Yeah, and as we said off camera many times, the charging stops we're going to do, we are going to be looking to stay there for roughly 40 minutes to get from 20 to 80% at least.
Yeah.
And in that time, it's not just the cost of the charge; it's the cost of you're not going to see a Costa, and then it's going to tempt you for hot chocolate and many other things, and then you ended up spending £15 in the service station at a time.
Yeah, it's going to be twice for you because you're going to be buying me hot chocolate as well. So yeah, double bubble.
I like this guy. He's he's quick. He's crafty. I don't see EVs as the future. A lot of people betting their whole house on it to be the future, and I just can't see it.
I think it can be, providing it's done properly. The cars need to have the right amount.
Yeah, I think at the minute it's been rushed. It's just been pushed, and there's not much thought that's been put into it.
I don't. You know, if you're watching this in other countries, I can't comment. But
yeah, exactly.
in the UK at least, the infrastructure just simply isn't there. And I've had a few people say to me, "Oh, well, Aaron, there's more charging ports in the UK compared to petrol stations." But that may well be true. But what you need to bear in mind is how many of those are fast or rapid chargers.
Yeah, exactly.
How many of those are on private land, for example, for companies that can only be used by their employees, or charging ports that are privately owned on someone's home.
Yeah.
So it's all good and well saying there's more charging ports in the UK, but it's all about how accessible are they, and also what you also need to bear in mind, I don't know why I said also twice then, is the fact that it's all about the way how they're spread out. There may be more in the UK, but you could have loads in London, which is great for people who live in London. But if you're in, well, I was going to say the Midlands. Midlands isn't exactly in the dark ages, but you could have another area which could be quite plentiful when it comes to petrol stations, but it could have one charging port for miles.
Exactly. So
it's all about putting things into context. I know stats are a great thing to reel off, and we all know only 75% of stats are true.
Yeah. That statement, oh, there's more charging units than petrol stations, is actually a false statistic, really, because as you just pointed out,
it's all about context.
Exactly right. And for journeys like this, where it's a long distance journey, you need to be able to rely on being able to charge it conveniently, not like, hopefully a lot of our routes will be on motorways, a lot of our charging stops will be on motorways.
Yeah.
We don't want to be going off like 5 miles to find somewhere, and then we're then doing another 5 miles to get back onto the journey we're doing. Yeah,
exactly, and it shouldn't be an issue for us because we're going to be going to service stations.
And with the infrastructure as well, you've got, so I could think of 5 different types of charging companies, and there's absolutely millions of them. Well, not millions, but there are too many. And it should be one uniform company across the whole country that provides charging for electric cars. It shouldn't be all different types of companies where your car is not compatible or it doesn't work because their service isn't great. And I've seen that more and more often when I've been in service stations. I've heard people going, I can't charge my car. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? It's not like you can going to the petrol station, put some fuel in it, you're
Well,
stuck.
You can try.
Yeah, you could try it. It's not
I'd
gonna
like to
work
see someone
very
do that.
well. And yeah, I'm honestly baffled by it. I really am, mate.
Yeah, some charging ports / services are good, and you just swipe your card, plug your
Yeah, like from experience, we've pretty much used GridSurf the entire journey, and that's not a sponsored ad or anything like that. That's just that's what we've come across, and it's been great. It's worked. It's pretty simple. The charging process, plugging it into the car, is as easy as filling up a car with petrol diesel, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a little bit more to it. You've got to wait for so long.
It should be painless.
Yeah, exactly. But when you come across problems where you go to a charging place and it doesn't work, oh, that's an appropriate name for a town, Drift.
Yeah, we're in Drift.
Yeah, you've got when you come, well, we haven't come across any chargers that are not working, but that unfortunately is the case in many areas. And I mean, you've got apps that tell you whether they're working or not. That's based on people.
Sat Map's really good, by the way, guys.
Yeah, we've been using Sat Maps, but the problem with that, when they're noting chargers not working, they're noted by users, and sometimes they're not updated for days. So
yeah,
you're then caught out where, can I still use that? And you're taking a risk.
Yeah,
a risk that you can't really.
No.
You can't really do, really, because if you get caught out, that's it. It's game over.
Yeah, because it may be the case that the charger is now working, but some selfish so-and-so hasn't bothered to go, oh yeah, by the way, guys, it's working now. Or it could be the case that someone else has gone to it more recently than the last update, and they've not updated it either.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I don't know with Sat Map, if a charger is out of order, if, let's say it's been out of order for 5 days, if you arrive there 2 days afterwards, I don't know if you've got the option to go, yeah, it's still out of order, and that way it updates it again.
Like Waze, when there's traffic on the road and you tick to say whether it's still there or not.
Exactly that, yes.
I'd imagine that, follows that same principle.
I'd hope so.
And whilst we're talking about electricity in form of being in a car, range. So Ford claim that this can do 379 miles.
Which sounds good in theory.
It does, it sounds great, because out of its rivals, it pretty much smashes them all out of the park. Probably apart from an ID4 maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But the reason I probably say that it smashes out of the park, because this has got the biggest battery out of all its rivals. It's got a 99 kilowatt hour battery. Now, it's great because you have more capacity, which in theory gives you more range. But in reality, that 379 miles is nowhere near what I've been getting. So when we left here, we had pretty much 260 miles. So we've lost 119 miles.
That's a big deficit.
To start. It really is. And they say performance is based on the weather. It's not great here. I mean, it's not cold. It is, the wind makes it more cold, but it's 8 degrees. And you'd argue that that's not exactly freezing, is it really? No. And this car has done 8,700 miles, which is quite a lot. So has that got a contributing factor to it as well?
You'd hope not, because it's not exactly high mileage, is it?
No, but that is very worrying, isn't it? When you want to rely on a car for a long distance and it's 120 miles off of what it can actually give you. That's,
so already you've lost, give or take, a quarter of the range. That's a big thing.
Yeah, and for this trip, that really does affect us from the get-go. Because, we're doing motorway miles, and if you think about 120 miles, that is a lot. That can get us quite far.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But again, we're here to find out, so you don't have to.
We're doing this for you.
I've got to bribe this man with many Cornish pasties. That's how I sold it to him. Mate, we're going Land's End. Get you some Cornish pasties.
Yeah, we're now leaving Land's End. What's all that about?
Yeah, we're leaving Land's End before the shop's open.
Yeah. What a con that is.
Got him. Right guys, so we are here at charge number 1 at Gloucestershire Services, and we cut it really fine. As you can see, we have 7% of charge left in the car. Roughly did around 240 miles. I'm slowly dying of a slow death. It's getting very.
We barely started.
I know. And funny thing is, there was a car right here charging, and luckily they were coming to the end of their charge. Otherwise, we would have been waiting even more than we've already got to. The one thing I hate about these ones is they don't tell you A, the kilowatt it's charging at, and B, it doesn't give you an indication of how long it will take to charge. So we're sort of sitting ducks, but we're going to give it to 80%. So we're not going to bother charging to 100% for these charges because A, it's a waste of time, and our journey's now set on doing 80% the whole way. So hopefully we're not going to do as many more charges now. So yeah, time to go and fill up with coffee, food, and many other things. We are refreshed, re-energized. Are you energized? Whoa, you're zooming.
Whoa, that's not a good angle. What I anticipate.
So yeah, 34%, 86 miles of range, and if it focuses, it says fast charging 80% by 1:33. So that is, if that's right, an hour. The future. The future is bright.
So what did Ford say? 10 to 80% in 45 minutes?
Yeah. Wrong.
I smell lies.
Lies, god damn it. But yeah, I suppose there could be worse places to sit in. Shout out to Gloucester Services, by the way. It's the nicest services that we've ever seen.
That is the poshest services I've ever been in. To even call it a services feels like I'm doing it a disjustice. It's like walking into a big Waitrose. Actually, it's like, yeah, think of a big Waitrose and then heighten that. That's basically what the level we're at. Where they're selling one cookie for £2.50, and it's not even a big cookie.
Yeah, this is where we come back to the EV life isn't as cheap as you think it is.
No.
Oh no.
I've also got the world's hottest Mache as well.
So guys, we have reached 80% or just over, and that took around an hour and a half, which is ridiculous. But hey, I'll keep saying it, but we've got to push on. So yeah, it says we've got another 612 miles to go, and it's saying that we're going to arrive at midnight, which is wrong because that doesn't include EV charges. So yeah. We'll touch base on the road, talk about the car a little bit more, and of course get to charge number 2. So we are on the road again, and this time Mr. Car Obsession is driving.
Mate, that felt like an eternity at that stop. Probably there over an hour we were there?
Hour and a half.
Were we?
Yeah.
So in total today we've spent about
3.5 hours.
About 3.5 hours just charging.
We've done more charging than we have done actual journey time. That is actually scary, isn't it? And that is charge number 1. And as you would have seen in previous clips, we were very lucky, and Aaron's been goading it. The fact that, well, it wasn't us, and I hope that we don't get hit with that karma later on.
Shut your face. I'm not completely against EV cars. I just think certain aspects of it, just they're not at a point where they fully work. Like
we've just proved it. We've done 3.5 hours of charging, give or take, and we've just about done 3.5 hours of driving.
Yeah.
So you can't argue with us and have a go at us to say that is convenient and it works. It just doesn't. It really doesn't.
And for example, if he hadn't have been there would have been 2 other people behind us waiting. Yeah. And imagine if we were in their shoes, we're trying to get to John O'Groats, and all of a sudden we're behind a queue of 2 other people. Yeah. That's where it doesn't work. And yes, I know you could be, I may have said it earlier, but you could be queuing at a petrol station, but they could be done in about 5-10 minutes, and then it's your turn. Yeah, exactly. It's all good. Yeah. Whereas when it comes to EV, if someone has beaten you to the punch and they've only just started, you could be waiting around for 40 minutes. Then it's your turn, and you're waiting another 40 or so minutes whilst your car charges. All of a sudden, you've lost almost 2 hours of your day. Yeah. I'm sorry, but that is not progress. No, I don't care what anyone says. No. That is not moving forward. No.
I can see in the next year or so, if it doesn't get minutely better, I can see people throwing hands at each other because they're fighting for the charge, and you've been here too long. You only need to charge to 80%. Now you can go. No, I want to charge to 100%. I was here before you. Do you see what I mean? I can just see it happening. I can just see it happening.
Meanwhile, I'll be in the petrol station and my Seat Leon Cupra, stage 1 remap, just going ha 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 ha, and then I'll see how much my fuel bill is, and I won't be laughing anymore. How much? I only want 10 litres.
We are now on the M6 somewhere out of West Bromwich, and because of the distance we're travelling, it's only going to happen where we get caught in some rush hour traffic, and being a Saturday, this is, I think, going to be the start of it. We've had to already make a detour, but yeah, this doesn't actually seem that bad, but yeah, the detour we've done was like watching paint dry.
It was mind-numbing,
yeah, so
to say the least. Absolutely mind-numbing.
Aaron's soldering on, and I've already planned the next charging station, well, I'm about to, because for some reason the Ford's navigation has been really letting us down, so we've pretty much got to take it into our own hands and figure out the charging routes ourselves, because it seems to be wanting to take us even further out and make our lives even more of a misery than it already is. But yeah, update over. Now, as I'm a newbie to the EV game, I have heard people speak about you should actually utilise buying a standard range car which has a smaller battery, but you are not compromised as such with weight. You have a lot lighter car,
yeah,
it's nicer to drive, and you're not at the charging stations too often having to wait a long time for it to charge because there's less battery to charge.
Yeah.
And of course the cost as well. I haven't actually got a price for a standard range Mach-E. I'll put it in the bottom now to show you the difference in cost, and I'd imagine it would be a couple of grand.
At least.
If it's any more, I'd be quite astonished, to be fair. So yeah, and from my experience at the minute, yeah, I'd probably agree, because it's actually an interesting fact that we haven't actually seen many EVs on the motorways. We've seen them in towns,
yeah,
quite a few, but we haven't actually seen many on the roads in comparison to normal cars, which are half a dozen. There's many. You can't miss a petrol diesel car anywhere, but for electric, yeah, non-existent. It's sort of telling us something. I think it's giving us a sign.
Yeah, I think all the time we've been driving so far, we've seen one,
yeah,
haven't we? And that's a Nissan Leaf.
Yeah. So it's all good, the Mach-E having the biggest battery in its class. I'm sure I've missed some rivals, but I've got already five that have come off the top of my head, so I think that's more than enough rivals to compare, give a good comparison against the Mustang. So yeah, of course it's good having a big battery, but it's all about the power and torque. Well, for me and Aaron anyway, because we like power and we like torque. Now, yes, being an electric car, you get instant torque no matter what. The funny thing is, however, the faster you go, you can feel it die off, and these cars only do, I think, 110 mile an hour at top speed, which is, in today's standards,
yeah, I think this is 111 if
yeah,
you're going to be really pedantic.
Yeah, so, but you can then throw that argument back going, well, you can only do 70 mile an hour max in the UK. So,
yeah, exactly.
Unless you're in Mexico.
Yeah, top speed is kind of irrelevant. Although I quote it all the time, I just quote it just because,
yeah,
you know, people might want to know, but in the grand scheme of things, top speed is pretty, yeah, it is irrelevant.
But if you're at an EV friendly pub and you want to show off to your friends,
an EV friendly pub,
and you want to show off your power and torque figures, you certainly can, because I'll give you to them now. So the Mach-E, the car we're in at the minute, has 294 horsepower,
yeah, and
430 newton meters of torque, which is not bad. It's not bad considering this is well over 2 tons. Well over 2 tons.
If it's an EV pub, would it be called the Plug and Socket?
That's a good pub. Coming soon to an area near you. That's brilliant. I like that, mate. Fist bump that. That's brilliant. This guy with the puns, I love it. He's so quick on his feet. Next is the Model Y, which is actually slower. It's got less power and it's got the same torque. So the power is 258 PS.
Okay.
And obviously 430 newton meters of torque again.
Yeah.
And this is where the Jaguar comes into its own, the I-Pace.
Yeah.
And yeah, it pretty much blows everyone out of the water with 400 horsepower and 696 newton meters of torque. That is ridiculous.
Sorry, stop. I thought there's someone in their boot then in that Range Rover.
ID4 is 1 horsepower more than the Mach-E.
Oh.
295 brake horsepower, and I've put an expletive next to the torque for the ID4 because I couldn't find it.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm not going to repeat what I've written there. So yeah, I just gave up in the end. So if you know the torque, put it in the comments below. And lastly, for the EV6 GT, we have 226 horsepower, which is a lot less.
Ooh, okay,
and 350 newton meters of torque.
And that's for the GT Line S?
That's the GT Line S, yes.
Oh, I thought it would have made that one a bit more punchy.
Just seeing as you've taken the reins of the Mach-E,
Yes.
you're taming the pony.
Yes.
What do you think of the ride?
The ride isn't great, if I'm going to be honest. At this kind of speed, it is bearable. Actually, well, it's better than bearable, but at the same time, it's quite a busy ride. It's never quite fully relaxed.
Yeah.
There's always something going on. You can feel it underneath you. I wouldn't go so far to call it uncomfortable, and thankfully, these seats are quite plush.
Yeah.
But the low-speed ride is.
Did you find the ride feel different from a passenger to a driver?
Yeah, it is better as a driver.
Yeah.
I'd say
I think as you're more focused actually doing the driving, it sort of takes that edge away from...
Exactly, and the low-speed ride in this leaves a lot to be desired. It's firm, it's busy, and it can crash over divots and potholes in the road. What's this on, 20-inch alloys or 19?
That's actually a good question. Spec sheet, where are you?
It feels like it's got
18 inches, mate.
18 inches?
Yeah.
The tyres must
feels like it's on 20s, yeah, that's why you've probably questioned it.
The tyres must be relatively low profile then, because it doesn't feel
it's
like
got quite a big sidewall on it from what I saw.
Then in which case the dampers haven't got a lot of cushioning. No. They don't really protect you that much.
It feels like it was an afterthought when they built the car. They didn't think too much about it.
Yeah, the ride is, even down here I can feel it. It's quite choppy, isn't it?
I have to take my hat off to Ford as their first full EV. They've made a good effort. There's lots to improve on. Of course, they've announced a new Mustang Mach-E GT.
Of course they have.
Which does look interesting, especially on them lovely wheels. I do like it.
I've not actually seen it yet.
Yeah, it does look quite smart, mate. It does look quite smart. And that is meant to target mainly the Model Y performance, because they're obviously trying to compete with Tesla. Because you'd argue Tesla are probably market leading in the electric car market. But yeah, I think mainly Tesla are dominating the market is because of their infrastructure. I think it's, out of everyone else's infrastructure, it works the best. Unfortunately, the likes of us can't use it, which is a shame.
No.
I think parts of America, they're now allowing other people with different EVs to use Tesla charging points now.
That's very nice to feel on.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, bring it to the UK and it will solve a lot more problems that we're having now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on charge number 2. Yeah, we made it in good time. About 10%, wasn't it? About 10%?
Yeah, give or take.
So we are currently charging the car again. You can try and see it's very cold and wet outside. I think from my eyesight, we've been here for about over an hour, but this charger, which is a GridSurf charger, actually failed on us about 24% in, and we didn't know about it because we were buying Costa again. Jesus, my bank card has taken a pretty big hit today. All thanks to AREN, he's been doshing up my cash.
All I got was,
especially with that machine, you've been going pre-authorisation. I've got like 80 quid in pre-authorisations in one place.
All I got from Costa was a gingerbread muffin. I happen to know.
Way too expensive, mate. That was like a tenner, that thing.
No, it wasn't.
So yeah, charge 2. Yeah, we've sort of got used to it a bit now, haven't we? Sort of like brain numbed by all this. So.
Yeah, we've kind of built a certain equilibrium to it.
So we are still using the Mach-E's Sat Nav, but we've resorted to using Zap Map to actually find chargers, because Zap Map actually tells you if they're out of order or they're available, whereas the Mach-E doesn't tell you, and it's been telling us to go like around the houses anyway, so we've kind of resorted to not using it. So we've put in the last charging stop, which is around 194 miles away, which is about 2 hours, well, we'll just say 3 hours for the site. Yeah, it is 3 hours. And then the remaining is John O'Groats, where we're hoping to get there on actually 3 charges. AREN actually argues that we've done 2 charges because you don't count the first one, but I'll leave you guys to debate that with him in the comments.
Well, I think it's the way how I see it. we've charged twice on the journey. The first charge was just to get us to the starting point.
Yeah, your argument was, well, if you lived in Land's End, which we don't, fortunately, you'd obviously wouldn't count that because you're pretty much there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm going to say 3 charges. Aaron's going to say 2, but yeah, the whole point of this video is we're showing you the whole thing from start to finish. This is like a step up from my Cougar range test where you did it as well.
Yeah.
Like just doing 30 miles and now we're doing 830 miles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna contemplate many things for another hour while this thing charges. It's saying it's going to be about an hour. It's 6 o'clock now. It's saying it's going to be fast charged to 80% at 7. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have my green tea. That cost me a bomb, and we'll see you at the next charging station. So, sit rep, we are still waiting for the charge. We just thought we'd get past 80% because of our next charge that we need to get to. And yeah, we've been here for over 2 hours to get to 84%. There is definitely something wrong with this car. Me and Aaron have been speaking about it off camera. The fact that we're getting over 130 miles less than the claimed range. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with this car, and it's the charging alone has really ruined us on this trip. But hey, we got to persevere. We're over halfway now. There's no point giving up now. So yeah, we're just charging for a few extra miles of range, and then we're heading off to the hopefully last charging stop of the trip.
Now for our job to continue through the night, leading us to the next leg of the trip, Scotland.
Charger number 4, and it's not going to be the last, I reckon, because the welcome we've got from Scotland has been a killer. Most of it's been hills and strong winds, and we left with about 210 miles of range from our last stop, and we in theory got around 150, if not less. That is really bad, and it's put us behind even more. So the plan is that we're going to charge up to 100% here, and fingers crossed, hope for the best. We will definitely need to do charger stop number 5, just for a short time. Hopefully we don't get battered anymore by Scotland. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to cry and curl up in a ball and disappear. Right, sit rep with charger number 4. As you can see, we are on the move. That is because the electricity, whatever it is, eco-electricity, that's what it's called, has absolutely mugged us right off. It was charging as if it was a 3-pin socket instead of a rapid charger like it was, and now Aaron is coasting the car at 40 miles an hour on a motorway. Luckily, we're the only ones on it, and yeah, we found another charging station, and hopefully that's going to give us some good news. But yeah, this is serious now. It's no laughing joke. Yeah, disappointed, really disappointed. But yeah, thought I'd update you guys on that and show you actually for real that yeah, we are in the mud.
And what's even worse is that we found another place. So after we got mugged off by that other one, we then found another charging place around the corner, which Sat Nav said was free. Sounded too good to be true. Yeah. And that's because it looks like you need to be part of some kind of membership. So we've gone to charge it and nothing happened because we haven't got the relevant membership. And yeah, so we're now having to nurse the car to some random Lidl and just hope and pray that the charging point is working, and also not free to use, but no one else is using it basically. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, in the mud, and yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
This is your future. Enjoy it.
So here we are at charger stop 4.5 or 4.5, and thanks to hypermiling Harry in there, we managed to get here. Yeah, coasted like 40-50 mile an hour down a busy motorway, getting flashed at and all sorts. But yeah, we finally made it, and hopefully this is going to save us because it's a grid surf. Now, it actually scared us because the last one we went to that ruined us was these here. Excuse my language, but they are robbing thieves. So hopefully this is going to save us. It's still going to take a while, but it's definitely quicker than those thieves over there. So yeah, now to go and get a hot drink and have a nap.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
I don't know what to say. I've taken a week to get myself together after filming the video that you have just seen, because yeah, it was a bitter pill to swallow. Something that I was looking forward to filming for ages, had everything planned. Evidently after watching this, it didn't go to plan. But yeah, very disappointed. Not only for not completing the video, doing the journey from Land's End to John O'Groats, as the title suggests, but a financial issue as well, because it cost me a lot of money to do the video. And as throughout the video, you would have seen the amount of charge it's cost me, but it wasn't just that, it was the accommodation. I didn't pay AREN as much as he deserves to be paid. But yeah, it was his time as well, my time, and yeah, just the mental aspect as well, which was a killer. So yeah, as you've seen, we left it at Hamilton Services, where I decided to call it quits, mainly because the car wasn't performing the whole journey, which we've proven, and there shouldn't really be any discussion about that. So yeah, we looked at the navigation, the Sat Nav. We knew that we had to do at least 2 more charges because of the decrease in range that we was getting from the car. And yeah, the time that we would have got to the accommodation in John O'Groats, forget getting to John O'Groats, actually getting to the place that we was going to stay overnight, was looking at like 7 AM in the morning. So yeah, in total would have been about 27 hours of journey time, which is no different to what those 3 guys that did it back in July this year just gone did. So I was just like, no, we're not doing it. And physically, mentally, driving through the night how we were, with the strain of the range, yeah, it just wasn't possible. So I took the executive decision to call it quits. What I wanted to do is, in the video I mentioned about the 335D in terms of comparing a petrol diesel car to the Mach-E itself. Now the 335D is a 3 litre straight 6 diesel. Yes, okay, it isn't as big as a Mach-E, it doesn't weigh as much as a Mach-E, but in real life scenario, I own it, and I've done lots of long distance journeys in it, so I can kind of give a reasonable account for the car against the Mustang. So yeah, in terms of the fuel cost, so with the 335D you can average around 48 miles to the gallon, which is pretty reasonable. And yes, I have done 48 miles to the gallon before on a long distance journey, before you ask. On a single tank you can get around 500 miles, probably a little bit less depending on your right foot, but I just wanted to round it up to the nearest as possible. I could say 480 miles, but even if it was 480 or 500, I'd still only need to fill up once. So yeah, the average time to fill up a tank of fuel, 5-10 minutes, 10 minutes being the maximum, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, that's a big difference compared to an hour and 45 minutes where we charged the Mach-E at 1 charging stop. Well, pretty much every single charging stop was a minimum of an hour and 45 minutes. And the fuel cost itself, of course, fuel in general, everything in general has gone up, including fuel. So we've taken an average based on 1.55 a litre, which is, in terms of on services, which tend to be even more than your local towns, is about right on an average scale. So yeah, I worked out that it would cost £80.74 to fill up the 335D to do the exact same distance which we did in the Mach-E. Now in context, it cost me £83.05 to fill up the Mach-E from Land's End to where we finished. How does that work out? You'd think it'd be a lot cheaper, but actually it's a bit more expensive. Now, on services, the charging rate is more expensive, of course, but in terms of services or in towns, it's exactly the same. I was paying roughly around 30p a kilowatt hour, whereas at home, where I am now, I'd pay 20p a kilowatt hour. But for me here, I don't have a 7 kilowatt wall charger, so I was always forced to go and charge at public charging stations like GridSurf in Braintree to obviously charge the car in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, I've covered the main topic that I wanted to conclude on this video. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to conclude it at John O'Groats, which was originally planned. So I didn't just want to finish the video abruptly at the end of the Hamilton services charge. So yeah, my opinion on EVs, it still stands really, that if you want to do long distance journeys, forget your in-town stuff, where you could argue more so that an EV could work. Long distances, it's far from ready. And we've seen the government backtrack, especially in the UK, on charging infrastructures. And if you do a quick search on YouTube, there are other people, automotive people like me, that have also shared this concern. So I'm not the only one. So before you comment down below, or even just hit the dislike button and don't comment at all, think about the video itself and what we've proven, and just accept that EVs aren't quite there yet. And me being cynical, I don't think they ever will be. It's a tough ask. The ambitions that the government initially set out, they haven't even been able to even get near a quarter of what they said that they'll do a year in terms of getting a charging infrastructure there. The car itself, now, of course, we didn't have problem with the charging infrastructure as such, because everywhere we got to, we managed to charge fine. The car is what let us down the most. I reckon that if the car wasn't a pain in terms of charging properly and giving us the charging times that Ford claimed, we probably would have still been able to finish the trip. Excuse me. So yeah, not impressed. And this is just me being honest. And that, as me and Aaron stated at the start of the video, there's nothing that we could have fabricated or falsely done in the video to make the EV sound worse than it is. The EV car, the Mach-E in this question, done it all for us in terms of proving us right, unfortunately. So yeah, a big thank you to Aaron from Car Obsession, of course, for joining me on the trip. Personally, without him, I would have gone batshit crazy. I would have driven myself insane. Just having Aaron on board with me, not only to help with the driving, but just to chat on and off camera, really did help make the journey more fun than it actually was. Of course, big thank you to Ford UK as well. They probably hate me at this point, but hey, they signed up to this. They know I'm an honest guy, and I'm never going to put something out there that I don't believe in. So yeah, but a big thank you to them. And of course, thank you to you guys for, of course, watching, subscribing and liking. The channel has been growing, so I really do appreciate that. Of course, share this video to people that either like EVs or are on the fence about them, because yeah, I wanted to make this video just based on everyone's perception of EVs. Now, there are a lot of people that like them for many reasons. There's a lot of people that don't like them for whatever reason. And there's people that are sort of on the fence about whether they should jump into an EV just yet or wait a little while longer. So yeah, as I always say, please do drop your feedback in the comments below. As I said, before you hit the dislike button, have a conversation with me about it. I'm a reasonable guy. You can understand that I've put in a lot of time into this video. It didn't quite come out how I wanted to, but nevertheless, I did it so you guys don't have to, as we said earlier. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.